Hey everybody, Cappy Cap here, and I got a video request from a young man who wishes to remain anonymous, so I won't mention his name. And your old Uncle Cappy is working a hangover off right now, and that's why he looks like shit. I don't know if I look like... Actually, I should look in the thing. I don't look like shit. I look alright. I feel worse than I look is basically what it boils down to. Anyway, let's continue on with the request. Aaron, I was wondering if you could make a video trying to give me and other pre-med some guidance in life for our future. Let me know what you think. You could give me some good advice with the video, and if so, let me know how to pay you. Well, you pay me, and he did on the PayPal. You think private consulting is better on ad? Yeah, we could do that. Here's my situation. I just finished my sophomore year of college, and no, I'm not a liberal arts major, although I do pay $50,000 a year for school. I won't have any debts when I graduate thanks to my grandparents. Well, then you're not paying $50,000 a year for school. Your grandparents are paying for it. You're not paying for it. Good Lord, I could do it. Yeah, well, anyway. I'm going to be very straightforward here. I'm very smart. I have a 4.0 GPA. There you go. I'm at an Ivy League school. There you go. Majoring in systems engineering and most likely minoring in healthcare management. Well, you pre-med or you systems engineering? I've also done all the pre-med classes and will take the MCAT in 2 months. In addition to doing well in my classes, I also have a great resume outside of the classroom. I'm president of my fraternity, involved in student government, very social, likable. Good Lord, look at you with your fucking resume going on here. Why are you consulting me? You're doing better than I ever fucking did. Anyways, 2 bits of advice I'm going to ask you about. First, I want you to give me your thoughts and economic background on the future of physician compensation. If I could go to medical school and graduate without large debts, do you think medicine is a safe thing to go into at the present time? I'm not looking to live in Beverly Hills and drive a Ferrari to work every day. I only want to make enough money so that I don't have to worry much about it and can raise a family in a healthy home. I have a passion for medicine and working with people, and I really can't imagine doing anything else with my life. Well, right there, honestly, if your expectations, I don't want to say they're that low, but they're that sane. A lot of people are like, I got to drive the Ferrari. And I saw that back at the U of M, like, I used to work at the computer science engineering building. And every spring, when graduation would occur, not to slam on our Asian brothers, but yeah, I'm going to slam on you because it happened, and that's reality. They'd always go buy a Beamer. They'd pull it up on the east side of the EEC side building. Look at my Beamer I got. And everyone, ooh, you got a Beamer. And it really is a sad testament that I hold East Asian or East Indians in very high regard because they're very dedicated, they're very smart, they're very intelligent, but then they succumb to the marketing bullshit that Americans give them. Like, you need to have a Beamer or Mercedes. And it's like, how could you be so brilliant in this field and not realize that this is bullshit? Anyway, yeah, so you know what's right. You know what's good in life, and that is family. You're looking to have all that. But to address your larger concern, yeah, definitely, if you're going to become a doctor, even with Obamacare, here's what it boils down to. I don't care what rules and regulation the government puts in. Unless they start regulating salary, which they might, and you got to consider that. Your skill is so rare being a doctor or a surgeon, you could command a high salary. And if shit gets bullshitty here, you can always go overseas and say, yeah, I'm a surgeon. And they'll be like, here's $200,000. So if you don't have that desire to drive a Ferrari, although your salary may command that, you could certainly own a Ferrari, buy it cash outright, and live in Beverly Hills, although I don't know why you'd want to. Yeah, medicine is like, let's put it this way. I always championed going into the military. Like, if I were to do it again, okay, if I were to do it again and have the gut or the ability to tolerate the sight of blood and arteries and kidneys and shit being blown up all around me and slicing people open, which I can't because I really can't. Like, it's weird. Like, if I... Let's put it this way. I'd rather take a gunshot in the leg than someone slicing me open and watching that happen or see a needle. I just can't handle that. I don't know what it is. It's just weird, but there's some people that can do it, and you obviously can do that. I can't. And if you have that ability to, like, surgically take a knife and say, oh, that ain't a human being, it's just a piece of paper, slice it open, and not pass out, you got a skill I envy, man, because, truthfully, doctors and surgeons throughout the entire history of the world do better than anybody else. So if you have that ability not to pass out at the sight of blood or take a certain... yeah, run with it, man, because that... And you said it's your passion, too. So, you know what? Yeah, absolutely do that. Even if it's a socialized, you know, like in Canada, and they're trying to, like, cap your salaries, the natural forces of economic is going to push your salary up. However, I do feel like I could have the potential to get a great job out of school, graduating in the top of my class, and do well in the engineering tech world. I'm wondering if I could be turning my back on a golden opportunity by only focusing on getting into top medical school right now. I also hate to dedicate so much hard work and such a significant portion of my life to becoming a doctor if I will not be compensated fairly for what I have to put in, and by fairly I mean enough money and time. Okay. Secondly, I'd like to get your opinion on joining the Navy or the Air Force. All right, let's cut it off right here so I don't complicate matters. I can't speak for your specific situation on going into engineering systems. It could be. It could be that you do really great there. No one knows what the future is. You could have that knack, man, to be like that salesman, and you make millions of dollars as a salesman, and put forth a quarter of the effort to become a doctor. Because becoming a doctor, that takes a lot, man. It does. You got to do your internship, and it really does. So it really is this classical debate. Do I invest in bonds, which are safe and not risky, or do I invest in equities where I have the potential? That's something you got to decide. Me personally, based on how society has treated me and what I've experienced, go the fucking safe route. You're going to spend less, like had I known, let's put it this way, I spent just as much energy and effort to get my bachelor's degree and graduate without college than most people did getting their doctorate to become surgeons as they accrued debt. Now, they pay that off, obviously, over the course of life. I would say go the safe route and become a doctor. I'm going to become a systems engineer, you're putting yourself to the fate of the private sector and the private markets, which is good, but it's volatile. I've never heard of a poor doctor. Never. Doctors don't have poverty. It just doesn't happen because you have such a fanatical, or not a fantastic skill. So that's what I would do. Now, continuing on to your second. Secondly, I'd like your opinion on joining the Navy or Air Force in one of their scholarship programs. The way it works is they pay for all 4 years of your medical school. That's why I recommend the military. So you can graduate debt-free. Winning. 2, parasite or plagiarize Terrence Popp. They pay for all your schools, so you graduate debt-free. In return, you owe them 4 years of service. And in the 4 years of service, let me think, did they pay for your food, clothing, shelter, insurance, and all that other fucking bullshit and give you payment? Yeah, I think you ought to fucking do that, maybe. Someone I knew did this, really enjoyed it. I imagine he did. And said it allowed him to travel the world and gain experiences he would not have had otherwise. Yeah, that's why I recommend the military. You might get shot, but it's worth it. Do you think this is something to look into? Yes, I do. Would the pros and cons be for doing something like this? What would the pros and cons... Okay, here's the military summarized in one shot. The 2 drawbacks is you get under the command of a real fucking douchebag. Your XO or your CO is like a fucking douchebag. Okay, yeah, well, that's what you're going to face in the private sector. I guarantee you in the private world, in the real world, you're going to run into, like, I mean... The world's filled with fucking idiots and assholes. So you're going to work under an asshole. You might as well get free food, clothing, and shelter insurance and tuition reimbursement while you're doing it. The other drawback of the military is that, yeah, you might get shot. You know what? There's that risk. And all these women these moms who think they live in this fucking bubble world where nothing bad happens. My child might get shot over the horror. I didn't know my child might get... Yeah, that's the fucking risk of joining the military. So, And honestly, if looking back at it now, it's too late. I'm too old. I looked into it. I'm too old to join the military. I would have joined the military. I would have taken the risk of getting shot because it's fucking worth it. It is. The fucking hell you gotta go through based on what they're paying you, and it's absolutely worth it. And all wounded, killed military vets may file a complaint or disagree. I will publish your disagreement, and I'll defer to your authority because you've been there. I haven't. I'm just saying, on the other side, yeah, it's worth the risk. But do you think this is something with the pros? The pros for everything with the military, joining the military, is everything you just listed. Everything's for free. Everything's paid for, and as I always have said, no one takes you seriously until you're 30 fucking 5, and maybe even 40. And so for every young man out there, there is not a better opportunity than the military. There just isn't. So if here's to speak to you, young man, I'm not going to mention your name. Absolutely join the military. You've mentioned your background, where your parents kind of taking care of your grandparents have kind of taken care of you. It sounds like you're coming from an upper middle class or upper class world, and a lot of the regrets. Not everyone who's rich or upper class is an asshole. They aren't. I have a good friend, David. He came from upper class, and he was very humble. He also sought out real-world experience, and that's why I really liked him, because he didn't want to, say, I'm born with a silver spoon. He took the silver spoon out of his mouth and enjoyed and lived with us commoners. And I think joining the military allows you to do that as well. You get to experience real life, and therefore understand what it's like to be a normal person. Now, I could be wrong. You could be very poor, and your grandparents just happen to be rich. I'm just saying, from the sounds of it, it sounds like you come from a privileged class. I hate to use that word. I really do, but I'm using it in the literal sense, not the fucking, oh, it's me, privilege. Yeah, give me money, give me blood. Yeah, you're going to hang out with, real schmoes. You're going to hang out with real people, and you're going to have better friends than the fake fuckity fucks over at the golf course in the country club. You're going to have people that actually like you for you. I think the military, it's the biggest regret I have. I think you'd love it. I think you'd enjoy it, and I think you're going to have real life experiences there. So yeah, that's what I recommend to you, sir. Not going to mention your name, but yes, absolutely. If it was me, and I can't predict the future. It sounds like your life. Look, you're already. It's not like you're asking me, should I major in English or go into the military? It's not like a cut black and white. All your options are should I be a super awesome, successful doctor, surgeon? Should I become an astronaut? Should I become a Playboy model? Should I become... your options are all none of them suck. So it's really hard for you to fuck this up. But out of all your great options, yeah, have the military pay to you become a doctor. And here's the other thing. Let's say you go the doctor route. That's the hardest, most grueling education there ever could be. If it doesn't work out, you can always become a systems engineer later. I just really hold doctors and surgeons in high regard because they, in my kind of eye, they have a magical ability not to pass out when they're cutting people open. And you obviously can do that. You can always default to the systems engineer. I don't know if you can go the systems engineer route, and then while you still have your youth and energy behind you, say down the road when you're 40, oh, I've changed my mind, I want to become a doctor. I don't know. I'm almost 40 now, and I don't have the energy to do anything anymore. I really don't. My effort, and so not to say you'd be the same, but yeah, while you're young, while the military will have you, while they'll pay for fucking everything, go that route. Just my 2 cents of advice. Toodles.